All right, guys, check it out. Here is what I'm calling my insane rack build for Rock Harbor Church. It's not insane because we have extravagant gear. It's insane because I had more ideas than I had space. As you can tell, we're in this tiny little back room. Here is some context of our space here at Rock Harbor Church. We have purchased this older building. We are still in the process of renovating the entire building, including all of our AVL systems. So in this video, I'm gonna catch you up to speed with our latest upgrades. And here's our front of house tech booth. As you can see, there is no storage room behind the tech booth. We actually really don't have much of anything back here other than the stand-up table, some chairs, and then we have our workstations here at our tech booth.
We'll get back to the video in a moment, but first a word from our sponsor, Church Posting. Did you know you can repurpose sermon videos into social media short form posts without needing to hire a creative team or editing them yourself? Church Posting automates your social media so you can transform those sermon videos into daily viral content, and your church can reach more people for the gospel without having to hire more staff or overextending your budget. Here's how it works. Churches simply put their live stream link into the system, and then Church Posting does all of the heavy lifting. They automatically identify the key impactful moments from your sermon, they transform them into engaging clips, and they automatically schedule them across all major social platforms. The results? Some churches have seen their monthly views skyrocket from 400 to over 50,000 views. Their advanced algorithm takes care of the bulk of the work, but they also have a dedicated team of editors to ensure each post is of the highest quality. And yes, for those of you who want a bit more control, there is an option to review every post through their scheduling tool. This gives you as a church leader the freedom to decide exactly what is published to your social channels. With Church Posting, messages are not just shared on Sundays. They're shared every day, teaching people wherever they are. And here's some exciting news for exclusively Churchfront subscribers. Church Posting is offering early access to the next 100 signups for only $97 per month. They're currently limiting capacity, and this price is a significant discount made possible by our partnership with Church Posting. So if your church is looking to enhance its online presence and community engagement, sign up for Church Posting today at churchposting.com/churchfront. Now let's get back to the video.
Let me walk you through the workstations at front of house. First, we have audio. We are running Waves LV1 as our mixing console, and man, has getting this system in place reminded me of how much I love mixing on Waves LV1. I've done this before at previous churches you guys have seen on the channel, but here at this church we came from using an X32 producer mixing console, so talk about night and day difference. This console is not only running our front of house mix, but this is also producing our live stream mix using a Matrix. Much more content coming soon on this setup. Workstation number 2 we have back here is our computer graphics and lighting control running on the same Mac Mini computer. And then we have a few handy dandy control panels here. We've got a Stream Deck for ProPresenter or lighting cues. And then we have a lighting control panel by ProChurch Lights. This makes it really easy for someone to turn on a lighting scene in the room without actually having to turn on the full system. Next up, we have workstation number 3, which is Video World. So we've got one monitor, which is our multi-view from the video switcher. And then we have another computer. This is an older MacBook Pro, Intel MacBook Pro. It's primarily running ATEM Control software. And then it also can be our way of monitoring the stream online with our encoding software. We've got a Stream Deck to help with camera switching right here. And then we've got the PTZ Optics joystick controller to move our PTZ cameras around. Much more details to come about all the individual elements of this system, but in today's video, I really just want to walk you through the workstation setup and the logic behind why I designed our backstage rack the way I did. The first thing I'm really excited about in this setup is the use of KVMs. Here at Churchfront, we're always trying to innovate our designs, and we're able to glean some great ideas from other church setups. And one thing I came across actually a few years ago, and I wish I would have implemented it sooner, was the idea of using a KVM. A KVM, I believe KVM stands for keyboard, video, and mouse. But basically, it is a way to control another computer remotely using these little transmitters and receivers. So this is a receiver. This is an AV Access KVM setup, and I'll get there close for you guys to see the model number there. This is the one I recommend because it has adequate USB connectivity on it. It also has dual HDMI. So our computer, so the computer that's actually running everything that you see here is not actually back here at front of house. It is back in the rack room. Same thing here. The computer, which is our Axis Scope computer that's controlling the Wave Sound Grid and the server and LV1 software, that is not back here. That is in the back rack room. And then same thing over here. We are using a KVM that is controlling the computer back in the rack room. So again, I tried my cable management as best as I can underneath the table here. You can see another KVM over here, and then I've got my cable raceways. I've got like a switch over here just to have network access. And then underneath this table skirt, it's kind of my trunk of cables that are just feeding this entire system. Haven't really quite figured out a better way to do this. I'd like to get rid of the table skirt and make this even cleaner, but I don't even have a rack back here. Let me know if you have any good ideas on how I could better optimize this. I'm really happy with this setup because not only does it really clean up our tiny little front of house tech table that we have back here, it also I think is better for security reasons, so we don't have random computers floating around, we're not tempting anyone to walk off with anything, and again, just really, really cleans it up. Now we are backstage. I'll walk through the details of this rack build in one moment, but first I want to share a little bit about just some of the optimization I had to do to even prepare this room for the rack build. So I'll put in some footage here of what this little rack room looked like before. It was simply being used for storage. The walls had a bunch of sticky acoustic treatment left on them. So I really wanted this room to look nice just for my own sanity. So I actually, prepped all the walls, scraped off all the old residue. I repainted it just to have a nice clean slate. I wish we could have redone the carpet as well, but eventually we're gonna renovate that probably around the whole church. And then the other thing I had to spend quite a bit of time on was figuring out our cable management. So using a lot of cable raceways, and we really had no existing conduit or a great way to get cables back to front of house and to the other places around the church. But I made it work. We figured it out. We got the cables everywhere that they needed to go. This rack is a Middle Atlantic rack. It is about 44 spaces. So I would recommend if you're gonna use this much gear, and this is the similar type system we'll be installing at a lot of our client churches here for integration projects, I would recommend using at least 2 racks, ideally the same size of 44U. One thing about building racks is you really want to make sure you have space in between the units of equipment just for way better organization, cable management, as well as serviceability. If you're trying to get back there to reconfigure anything, you don't want to be squeezing your hands into very tight spaces. At the moment, we really don't have a great option because you can see how tiny this room is right here. Like there's just like no space to put a second rack and be able to fit behind it. Maybe the room I'm actually standing in now, which is more of a storage room, maybe we could put another rack back here at some point in the future. So let's make our way through this rack build. At the top of the rack build, we do have a power distribution unit by Furman with some lights on it. Makes it easy to see what we're doing if the lights are off back here. Then we have our Axis Scope, which is the control host computer for our Waves LV1, and then we have the Extreme C server. They are mounted on their own shelf spaces there. Underneath our Wave setup, we have a new encoder, more on that in another video. Then we have the AV Access transmitters for our KVMs. So this is the other side of the KVM setup I showed you at front of house. The way these KVMs work is you plug your computer USB and HDMI peripherals into the transmitter on this end, which is on the back of the KVM that you're looking at now. And then on the other side, you have Cat 6 cables coming out that are running to front of house. And this is just a point-to-point, very simple KVM setup. These transmitter receiver systems are about $200, which in my opinion is a really great value for the convenience you're getting. There are definitely more advanced KVM setups out there where you can do KVM over IP like an actual network. I recommend these ones for right now because they are foolproof.
I would even recommend maybe ordering an extra one in case one does fail, because they are inexpensive enough because they bring that high convenience and you can just have an extra one on hand, again, if one decides to fail. But time will tell how these guys last. I'm pretty confident this is going to be a great long-term solution for us. So underneath the KVM transmitters, we have our other computer. It's our MacBook Pro. This is the one that we use to control ATEM control software. And then we also will do multi-track recordings to this computer with Logic. And then we have a Thunderbolt hub on top of it there for easier connectivity. Underneath that, we have the XMac Mini server. So our Mac Mini is rack mounted, and this server has a DeckLink Duo on the back of it to make our video runs to the ATEM Constellation 2ME switcher. Underneath the ATEM Constellation 2ME switcher, we actually have the ATEM Extreme ISO SDI video switcher. And you guys are probably wondering, why do you have two video switchers? Well, right now we are using the SDI ISO switcher below the ATEM as what I'm calling an affordable way to get ISO recordings very quickly from the Constellation 2ME. So what an ISO recording is we can use our 10 outputs that we have on the back of this video switcher. Some of them are used for our screens and video output devices that we're sending video feeds to in the room, but we have plenty of outputs left to take our 5 cameras and output a clean feed from those cameras directly into the ATEM Extreme ISO. And then the ATEM Extreme ISO has a super convenient way to isolate, record everything onto a solid state drive I have plugged into the back of it. So we're gonna do like a worship night, or if we just wanna get really great multi-track and multi-video recordings of a Sunday to be able to edit and post, this is a really convenient way to do that. Underneath that, we have our network switch and network setup. So we've got, of course, internet coming in, any device that needs to be on a network. Our PTZ cameras are all power over Ethernet, and also this is how we control those PTZ cameras. Underneath that, we have our ProChurch Lights DMX distribution, and then we also have the Wall Panel Pro by ProChurch Lights. This is the brain of that wall panel I showed you at front of house. And then under that, we do have a power sequencer. I haven't finished setting that up. I just need to run the little control lines to the RPCs at the back of our powered speakers by the stage, so we can fire everything up and down with just the turn of that key. And then I'll probably put a remote button at front of house as well. And then making our way down, we have Audio World. We've got our SLXD wireless system. We're using the RF Venue combiner with the architectural antennas, which are really cool. Then we have wireless in-ear monitors, same thing. So we have the distro for the wireless mics, and then we have combine for the in-ear monitors. And then beneath that is all of our audio and inputs and outputs with our DS Pro 4000 by Waves for the LV1 setup. And then we have a little patch bay underneath. So even though it's very kind of inconvenient to crouch down here to control my patching, I didn't want to have all of my subsnakes, going above anything else in this rack. I just wanted to keep them towards the floor. A few items we have here by Radial. We've got the USB Pro to get audio from our iMac into the stage box. And then we've got the Catapults by Radial. This is a really budget way to get more inputs, outputs to front of house for talkback, as well as a monitoring headphones for soloing things, or for our computer graphics operator when they want to hear guide cues if they're running ProPresenter. We didn't quite want to drop the hefty price tag for the DS Pro 1000 for front of house. Plus, I don't really want to rack anything back there. So this was an easy way to get 4 ins and 4 outs with just 2 Ethernet cables. I did want to show you the architectural antennas that we're using for distro and combine. They blend right in with the wall, and we used to have a bunch of RF issues in the room when we had that mess of a rack by the stage. It's because we didn't have proper antennas for it. And this completely solved that, and everything just sounds amazing, both the microphones and in-ear mixes with the packs. All right, so this is kind of the back side stage area. I want to put in some footage here of what this used to look like. It was a disaster, but now we've cleaned this all up.
and everything is right behind that wall right there. We've still got more work to do, but boy, has this space come a long, long way. I'm hoping to upgrade our PA soon, and then also we're gonna put some nice Prime Acoustic, hopefully the wood veneer that they make up here, so it looks like wood up here, but it also is going to help with additional treatment in the room. So you can see we've got our side screen projectors here. If I turn around to the back of the room, we've got another display showing full screen content from ProPresenter on the bottom, and then we've got our stage display screen on top, which that looks a little crooked right now, because it definitely is. And out there in the lobby, we have another TV that we're able to send out our program from our video switcher so people can see and hear what's going on in the room. I really hope you guys found this video helpful. I know that a 20-minute walkthrough does not quite do this system justice, but the good news is you can subscribe to our channel. I'm gonna make a lot more videos that do deeper dives into each of the individual elements of this system, whether it's audio, video, and all the other cool little things that tie it all together. Also, don't want to forget to mention this cool new drum set we've been using. More videos coming on that as well. Don't forget to check out churchfront.com for more resources for your worship and production ministry if you'd like to work with our team and implement the similar design that we implemented here at our church. We can do the same for your church. So go to churchfront.com/apply and check out all the free resources down below. We've got the free Churchfront toolkit that lists out a lot of gear that I showed you in this video, and I'm updating that all the time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.